Hello there, guys. Springdale here again.
And yeah,
TAF108 and
Victory. That seems what I was expecting.
finally, we're gonna do the Homecoming review that we promised several weeks ago, basically a month ago. We basically promised it when it came out. Now that I think about
Yeah, no, there was a discussion between me and him after we saw the movies together. I was like, so we're gonna review this now, aren't we? He said, yeah. Then we didn't.
it. I think we reviewed Power Rangers instead.
Oh yeah, better choice.
Well, that might spoil it. Actually, I've been posting memes in every video about Spider-Man about this movie anyway, so I guess our opinion is already well spoken. But hey, we're gonna get into it. It deserves its own video, so it's getting.
Hey, the movie got itself a movie.
That's true. So, as usual, we're going to follow our same format. Recap, good, bad, overall score, and then complete it with a would we recommend this film to anyone.
We can do the would you recommend it now, because it's really not that hard. Because I
Watch it as Iron Man 4. Alright, let's move on.
right.
Alright, so let's recap the film. So, it starts with Peter, actually, it starts with a flashback to Civil War.
It doesn't even start with a flashback to Civil War. It starts with a flashback before Civil War, like 5 minutes.
And it's just Peter on a camcorder, not being fully briefed on the situation, apparently, and being escorted by Happy the entire time.
Speaking about the camcorder, that's the only sign he wants to be a journalist in the future.
Yeah, and it doesn't even really seem to be for monetary gain. And it's also just a video for him, but he was clearly talking to the audience. But I think that might be something to get into an actual review portion. We're supposed to just be describing the story right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, we get to see his reaction to Giant Man, his reaction to having to go and fight Captain America.
His reaction to Giant Man was actually pretty funny.
His reaction.
It wasn't very funny. It was entertaining to watch.
And then his reaction to what do you call it? His reaction to being benched from the fight and then going home.
And getting a new suit.
Yeah, and he briefly, again, the scene from the trailer, Tony, quote unquote, hugs him as he exits the car. Barrel of laughs there.
Hey, what's Tony?
Fair enough. And then he goes home, and we get to fast forward to his normal, average high school life, which takes place exactly 2 months after the conclusion of Civil War.
And he's super hardcore. He has a super hard on for Tony during this point. And that's the best way to describe it.
Kind of the Avengers in general. Because as we follow the film, he's constantly texting Happy, asking when the next mission with Mr. Stark and the Avengers will be.
And leaving voicemails.
And that's basically what we're introduced to. We're introduced to Peter constantly checking in with Happy, trying to, get to know him a little bit better. It's kind of been a while since we've seen the movie, so some of these events might be out of order, but during the same time, he performs a bunch of heroic acts while simultaneously reporting them to Happy as soon as he's done with them.
Heroic? Because the only real heroic act he does stop a robbery in a bank, but that's a little after he stops a robbery earlier that day, and he stopped somebody from stealing the bike, but we don't know if that ever gets...
He just leaves the bike there.
Yeah.
Left to something. Tells people with a note not to steal, which I will admit, we haven't got to the good yet, but I do like that. Notes are a part of the mythology.
Just another day, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
So, from that point, we see Peter interact with his high school friends.
No, we skipped an important part.
Which was?
Because he mailed Happy, he left the voicemail for Happy at the end of the day, meaning that he went to school earlier, which we didn't really... I don't remember if they showed it, but if they did, then it would have just been the introduction of Liz, his crush, MJ.
Crush. Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle.
And Flash. And
Flash.
And I was about to say Genki, but it's Ned.
Mr. Leeds. So, moving on from that, we get a day in the life of Spider-Man, and a day in the life of this version of Peter Parker. And
but this day suddenly gets dashed when people rob the bank. No, the ATM machine, across the street from his best friend, his best Muslim.
No, he's Italian.
Italian. I know my racist. His best Italian friend. I say that because Genki sucks in this movie. Ned sucks.
They're not supposed to be getting into our review about the movie yet. I mean, if you want to do it, if you want to just change our style or recording, I'm down.
We'll keep going.
You keep going? Okay. So, from there, what he's speaking of is an earlier scene where they made a hot Aunt May joke because the Italian bakers would like talking about how hot his aunt is. They do
So
a lot
did
of that.
Tony.
They do a lot of that in this movie.
His aunt is hot.
So we're not going to get into that earlier, so I'll just talk about it now. I think someone like looked on the internet briefly and saw all the Aunt May is hot memes, or like the kids are into this, and put it in the film.
Yeah, but back to what happened. So he goes to the ATM machine. He's like, "You guys aren't the real Avengers."
It's basically the scene from the movie. Actually, I think they changed the dialogue, didn't they?
Probably slightly, a little bit. I noticed it wasn't the exact same as the trailer. But that happens, and they shoot out the laser. It goes to
that's
the sandwich shop, destroys it, and he flips out and lets the villains escape
to save the guy.
Nut.
And then this is also the part where we see one of the biggest defining features of this film, which is the fact that
we forgot something super important.
He isn't throwing any punches. Yeah,
we forgot about Vulture.
Vulture doesn't show up till late.
He shows up early on.
Oh yes, that's right. The film actually starts with Vulture, if I recall correctly.
We're idiots.
Yeah. So anyway, the scene starts with Vulture, the character Agent Humans, played by Michael Keaton, aka Batman, and basically what we're seeing is that he was a contractor before, what do you call it? Before the events of the Avengers, but
then the
damn
Chitauri.
Alright, Chitauri.
Chitauri invade that giant thing that ate Hulk. It ate Hulk, right?
The worm thing? I don't think it ate Iron Man.
It ate Tony. It's crashed down into the building. Him and his group of friends are like, "Let's go take it apart and sell it for money to take care of our families." Then Tony's like, "I'm going to send people to take care of this item, this technology, so that way bad people don't get their hands on it." And Vulture's crew is like, "We're salty. We're going to be bad guys now."
Essentially, and the way they rationalize it is that, they're the little guys, the working men who have been kicked out of their jobs by the government, essentially, because it's a government liaison between Tony's corporation and S.H.I.E.L.D. to make damage control, which is a team from the comics. But we can get into that if we actually talk about references like we do sometimes. No?
Probably not.
Okay, we'll just talk about references during the good and bad sections then. Anyway, so basically damage control exists in this universe now, and they took care of the damage. So they were like, well, if they're going to keep making messes, then we're going to profit from them ourselves, and they decide to just become the scavengers of, superhero wreckage battles to sell the technology. And that's essentially where the Vulture name comes from in this continuity, because he's, picking up the scraps of superhero fights.
Oh my god, how about wind turbine wings? Alright, no, that's later. Never mind, forget I said that.
Alright, so, yeah, that happens in the beginning. And then, cut forward again. And we get
back to where we were. After he robs the bank, he's like calling Happy. He's like, "Hey, yo, these guys had some advanced machinery," and Happy's like, "I don't care."
It's like, it's alright, fam. And he basically ignores him. And I kind of wish, even though I had seen the film a second time this week, I'm still kind of blanking on what happens. But after that point, he goes ahead and
goes back to school.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He goes back to school. No. He heads back to Aunt May's apartment. This is when Ned finds out he's Spider-Man.
Did it really happen that early on in the film?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So yeah. So
it was after he got a beat down at some point, and he had come back and come in late, and he had crawled in through the window as you seen in the trailers. And that happened. It's either then or when we first meet Prowler.
When you first meet Prowler, no,
because but Ned knows he was Spider-Man while he was fighting Prowler.
Yeah,
so it had to be
later.
after
it had to be earlier. But I'm wondering if Ned found out before or after the first fight with Vulture.
It had to be after the ATM. Had to be after the ATM.
Okay, so it happens really early on, and that immediately changes the dynamic because we see a lot of people.
Ned becomes the worst character in the film.
It's
oh my God,
mostly it's just Ned constantly talking about what
his secret identity and stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right, because I think the first Vulture fight is at the party. Yeah, it is. So Ned finds out, and so Ned's constantly asking questions about the Avengers. He asks if he lays eggs. He asked a bunch of basically
stupid questions. He was not being a good friend.
The only good thing these questions accomplished is that it confirmed that he was bit by a spider, in case anyone was wondering. So that's the quote unquote origin. Of this
and
movie.
Then they go to the gym, and then Peter's doing his sit-ups, and then they're talking. The girls are talking about
how hot Spider-Man is.
The Spidey Man.
Oh my God.
They have no context. But they were talking about the Spidey Man, and Ned's like, "You don't know him." And he's a terrible friend. Just terrible friend.
Anyway, so
he's like Genki and Zeke from Infamous had a baby, and that baby was deformed and not smart. I don't like Ned. I'm trying to get that out there. I don't like this version of Ned. Just
Do
saying.
you like any version of that?
I'm okay with the first version of Ned. I'm okay with. I didn't care about him. But this version of Ned is like, you're a terrible friend. You talk to him about this stuff in private, not in school. What are you doing?
That's another thing. It's kind of an oversight of the film, I guess you'd say. But they constantly talk about the Spider-Man stuff with within earshot of other people. Like,
He
if you've
also
ever
does
been
his
a
web
high
fluid
school student,
experiments.
you understand how easy it is to hear those conversations, even if they're across from you. So it seems like a really
Don't
cool
forget
thing to
he's
do.
mixing web fluid in class.
Yeah, but that happens later in the film.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, so during this part, we get introduced to all the high school cast. We get introduced to Liz.
Actually introduced.
Yeah, and get to fully understand them. And then this is the same point where Liz invites them to the party, right?
Yeah, and then they're leaving school, and Flash is like, "Hey, Penis Parker." Wait, no. Is that at the party?
He does say it at the party.
Yeah, I know,
It's
he
like his
he
chant.
says that at the party.
Yeah, that's basically his version of the Puny Parker line from the comics. Because obviously you can't call him puny, because I'm pretty sure Pete could have taken him without the spider powers in this universe.
He's also smarter. The entire team is smarter than Flash. Oh, wait, that's a later point that I'm gonna roast Flash later. But then so after all that happens, Flash leaves. Peter jumps the fence.
He goes to be Spider-Man some more.
Yeah. Loses his backpack.
Yeah, his backpack gets stolen
He's
because
so retarded. I mean, he's not smart.
He doesn't realize how long his wedding lasts and that he needs to get back to it.
No, he knows.
He does know, but I mean, he doesn't think about it while he's heroing, apparently.
Then he goes to the party. Gets called Penis Parker.
Actually, yeah. He goes to the party. Aunt May drops them off. He was what do you call it? Challenged during gym by Flash to bring Spider-Man if he really knows him. And then
Oh yeah, that was the thing that no, that was the girls, I think.
no.
Either or, it doesn't matter.
It's definitely Flash.
Some prick challenged him.
It was Flash. So when he shows up, Flash antagonizes him, and he
Calls him Penis Parker. Then he leaves. Like he's explaining this really in depth, but all that really happens, Ned and Peter goes to the party. Ned is like, "I'm your bro, man. Do it if you want," but I'm gonna hit on this girl. You're on your own. And then he gets called Penis Parker, and then he leaves.
Well, he only leaves because he sees things exploding in the background, and so he decides to go check it out as Spider-Man.
After being called Penis Parker.
Yeah, after. And then
No. He leaves, and then they're all shouting, "Penis Parker, Penis."
well, it's like Flash is supposedly in DJs. There's a bit more of a beat to it than what Victory's doing.
Yeah.
But we cut to not really cut, but the scene transitions to Peter going to check out what's happening. It's basically an arms deal between the Shocker, air quotes, and the Prowler,
Shocker, and Prowler.
air quotes. And he's showing off the alien tech, and the Prowler seems disinterested in all of it except for
No. He's not disinterested. He is angry at his dealers for not giving him discreet weaponry. He asked for weaponry that would allow him to mug somebody, not hurt them, and certainly not blow up a city block.
Well, basically, the only time he shows interest is when they offer him climbing equipment, which is obviously a nod to his position as the Prowler, someone who clings to walls. Anyway, obviously it's a Spider-Man villain. Regardless, Peter ruins the scene by having his phone in his pocket, which goes off during the deal, and so they think that.
Is it the old? No, that was the old Spider-Man theme song. That was at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so they make them think that Davis is setting them up, and then he has to jump down and tell him to shoot at him.
And then he gets punched.
And this is the first time we see the quote-unquote Shocker in action. And it's because we're just doing references throughout, it's very unlike the Shocker's gauntlets. They're capable of being used for punches, but their main allure is the fact that they can shoot vibrations of air from a distance.
Nah, fam. He punched him so hard, vibrations of air punched him too. Ora.
Anyway, so nothing of note is accomplished during this portion.
But he does put he doesn't put a tracker. He webs up the door. He webs up the door.
They basically repeat the card like Spider-Man versus Sandman fight in Spider-Man 3, except way less dynamic and interesting. So he's basically just hanging on to the truck, and it's not
But he's also tearing up the ground and a bunch of fences. He causes a lot of property damage.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. There's something we skipped over, but on his way to get there, he's very inept at swinging in a suburban neighborhood. So we're forced to see him run, and even though the character is supposed to have super speed, he's very slow,
He also can't jump high.
and he causes tons of property damage as he runs. And they even reference that scene from a movie where a character, a human character, does the exact same thing. It's way too on the nose.
And then Vulture's like, leave my boys alone. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, wind turbine wings. And
So Vulture swoops down to save his
Winter
crew
wings.
from Spider-Man, and
he stomps.
he's only saved by the fact that he has a parachute. But then that very parachute wraps around him, and he nearly drowns until an unmanned Iron Man suit comes in and saves him.
and puts him in his place.
And Tony berates him, telling him that he's
out of his league.
he's not ready to do this kind of thing or whatever. And Peter seems like really eager to impress him, and
Again,
so
he
he
has
takes
a hard on for Tony.
and then he takes the one thing he got out of the fight, which was the alien tech, and he and Gank will spend the rest of the film. Oh
No,
he and Ned,
they don't. You call him Genki. You call him Genki. But no, so they don't spend the rest of the film. They spend up until they go to Washington. But that's
That's
later
what
on.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the rest of the film for like as long as it lasts. Anyway, so they try to figure it out. This is where we get to the part where shot class, where you find out that Peter keeps all of his Spider-Man stuff in school. He keeps his costume, the old one, underneath the lockers, which only he can lift. Well, I assume if enough guys got together, they could. But
Who would?
yeah,
What would
Why
the
would
purpose
they
of
do?
that be?
And then he works on his web fluid in class, like earlier in the film. Except this time he's working on alien technology in front of people, and it was shown that the teacher doesn't pay attention.
Because he hears a loud bang. Bang.
Exactly.
So he hears a loud noise, and he's like,
Don't cut your fingers. Basically, is all he says.
it's like, don't be idiots and hurt yourselves or kill yourselves.
So that's a thing, and it's really whatever.
Then
I kind of want to get to like the review portion, so you gotta speed through the
all
story.
right. So I got you. I did the Power Rangers one. I can do this one. So then
Actually, no, you did the Power Rangers one, so
I got this.
I stick. No,
I
got
can
it.
do this
I got
quickly.
it.
Let me do this. I got this.
No, all right, I got this. All right, you ready? All right. So basically, he
Bus.
meanders around. He meanders around the school for a bit. He ends up.
He meets the group, apologizes, gets on bus, goes to Washington. Monument explodes. He
He only
saves
wants to go to
everybody.
Washington because he knows that the Vulture will be
We're,
there.
we're trying to speed this up.
Yeah. So he tracks Vulture to Washington. He goes to Washington because he wants to understand, what's going on. Because he placed the tracker on the guys earlier in the school section of the film where they're trying to get their crap back.
When he reaches the hotel room, him and Genki hack the suit.
They hack into the Stark Tech suit very easily. They basically just unlock the protocols by simply plugging it into the computer. At this moment he gains an AI which he names Karen, and
Friday.
Karen gives him all the stuff that he can do. So now he
Instant kill.
he has an instant kill mode. He can eavesdrop on
He doesn't know if
from
it
a
kills
distance.
people though. What if it just one shots them and knocks them out? What
And,
if the movie would have been so short?
And his eyes, which are made to focus his vision, also now work to just zoom and enhance, basically. So it becomes a miniature Iron Man suit as soon as he gets all that
Yeah.
crap.
Yada yada yada. He saves the Washington Monument. He heads back to New York. He enters the ferry.
He fights Vulture, and again, this is where we get a common theme. They don't actually fight. It's just like Spider-Man webbing and flipping around him until he fails.
does good stuff.
And Vulture drops his device, and Spider-Man not knowing what to do.
He has a device, shoots light layers. He's about to fire it. Vulture drops it because Spider-Man webbed it up. It explodes, cuts it in half. Which, by the way, remember in the trailer when you thought Vulture did that himself? Yeah, that's not a thing. It's not that cool.
So what we see in the film next is Spider-Man basically like webbing the boat back together, just
And
like
a
in the
black
film.
guy goes, "Yeah, Spider-Man!"
And again, they're trying to imitate the scene with the train from Spider-Man 2, but again, it's not done with the same finesse, as he doesn't actually accomplish anything. The moment he tries to hold it together himself, it begins to break apart.
He learns that he got 98% of it, and Friday's like, not enough. Iron Man comes in, and the black guy, he went, "Yeah, Spider-Man." Goes, "Yeah, Iron Man."
Because Iron Man's the one who actually ends up saving them. At this point, Iron Man's like, "Your fodder. You didn't listen to the FBI agents I sent, and I'm taking your suit." He takes the suit, and at this
No. It's also the important part. Spider-Man goes, "I'm nothing without his suit," and then Tony's like, "Then you don't deserve it."
Well, yeah, just take the suit. And then Spider-Man just quits being Spider-Man for this portion of the movie.
He gun to mouth quit thing. What's a good scenario in the comics when he just straight up quit being Spider-Man for a retarded reason?
I can't think of it. Or he just like quits for no reason. Because usually when he quits, he's like because it's like either he's like losing his powers. I mean, there's like a time briefly, I think.
Oh, so you're saying that there's no moment in the comic books where he quit because he lost his will, but because he actually couldn't be Spider-Man.
Essentially, but that's something we get into when we get to the bad parts of the film. So basically, he just gives up, and then we finally get to have some time with him and Liz, because throughout the film we're told that he has a crush on her. They haven't really spent any time
And
together.
Liz may have a crush on him.
And he does ask her out effortlessly.
And she says yes.
And she says yes, so they're going to go to homecoming together.
And then he learns Vulture is your daddy.
Which was pretty obvious it's not coming because the climax is coming. You haven't seen her dad. It's kind of pretty obvious, I think, in the setup for me.
She also has a really nice house.
She
has a really nice house.
We get a that alien tech pays well. So we get a interesting scene in the car where Vulture is slowly figuring out his identity based on the information Liz passed on to him.
Then he gives him the good "Dad, don't mess with my daughter" speech, and he's like, "Listen,
because
my daughter likes you, I'm gonna let you go. But if you keep coming after me, I'm gonna murder you."
And everyone you love. That epic scene in the trailer you've all seen. So basically that happens, and then Peter goes in to have a dance with Liz. And then
no, he doesn't.
No.
Well, I left at this part of the movie.
Yeah. He went to the bathroom. So basically, he goes in to go, hey, yo, Vulture, bro. I mean, not Vulture. Vulture's daughter.
Don't you mean
Liz? Yeah. He's like, yo, you're hot, but I'm gonna go fight your dad. And he doesn't say that. That's basically what happens. And he leaves. He bolts, and he picks up the costume ready thing. He leaves Liz alone.
He picks the old costume.
Yeah.
That looks like the
homemade.
king.
It kind of looks like Scarlet Spider costume,
yeah.
like in reverse, and not as good. Anyway, so he takes the costume, he goes to leave, and then he gets decked by Shocker. Oh, by the way, halfway through the film, I mean not halfway, in the beginning of the film, they kill the old guy who called himself Shocker, and then they give this other guy Shocker, this black guy. So it's basically like affirmative action, like right in the middle of the film.
Yeah.
And
we forgot about it because it's a scene that gets glanced over really quickly, and it's honestly super unimportant.
Like he murders him, but it's like unintentional, so it's like supposed to be a gag. Anyway, so basically,
and the most important part about it is that it's never brought up again. Like you see him again, but it's not. He's never called Shocker, nor is he like doing Shocker things.
So he bashes Peter around a bunch of buses for a bit, and then Peter is about to die when Ned comes in because he dropped his sweatshirt. So Ned comes in, he webs up Shocker's hand.
Really?
Yeah, you missed it. But so what happens is Peter is like getting bodied, and he's like trying to use the sweatshirt. He's like, oh wait, I dropped it. I didn't put them on because he smacked me away from them. So he's like, oh no, I'm about to die. And then Ned like webs his hand up, and Shocker like pauses the punch. So he webbed it enough for us to stop his fist. And Shocker's like, what's going on? He turns around, and then the camera pans to Ned. He's looking super hyped about what he just did. And then Peter goes, good job, Ned. And he takes the web line in his hand and uses his strength.
Time out. You just
Shocker.
gave out to somebody. Now they know you go to that school. Now they are 100% certain you go to that school.
Oh yeah, that's a plot there for later in the movie though. So then he basically one KOs Shocker and webs him to the bus. And then he's like, yo, Ned, I need you to be my guy in the chair, which was a joke from earlier. And then Ned goes...
Because Ned is like, let me help you. I can be your guy in the chair. And Pete's like, no. I have a girl in the head.
Except now he is the guy in the chair, and so he
doesn't have the girl in the head.
So he goes to be the guy in the chair, and Peter steals Flash's car for no reason.
No. He doesn't steal it for no reason. He stole it to dick on Flash.
I'm sure he might have been able to swing faster. I mean, I don't know. He never web swings in this film. Another thing, but we'll get into that.
Yes, he does.
Not in the same way in the old film. Like the old films, you could feel it. In this film, it like briefly happens during like the few sections. Where
I'm just saying he does web swing,
and I'm saying it's not good enough for me to consider weapon. Anyway, so that happens, and then we move on to him catching up to Vulture, which
inside of a parking lot.
Oh yeah. So and Vulture gives him this big evil speech about like, hey, we're both working class, like super villains.
Well, it wasn't really an evil speech. It was more as of a I'm an idiot speech.
Was it not an idiot speech? I mean,
basically, he's like saying like, and all these people are screwing us over, and I'm like, and I'm 100% certain that if he walked up to Tony and was like, hey, yo, can you get us on this team? Tony would probably been like, listen, I can't get you on the team because I can't trust you guys enough to know that you won't do anything evil with the technology, but I am willing to give you guys money to help you guys stay on your feet up until you are ready to go. Tony is generous in this timeline. Remember this.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. Basically, Vulture gives him the big speech. He's like, we're like, and Spider-Man's like, you're not going to convince me, right? He's like, yeah, I was just buying time for my new set of wings to come in. So then
wind turbines!
So this massive new set of wings he has comes in. And then Peter spends like...
By the way, his wings are always wind turbines throughout the entire movie. It's stupid.
And he spends a lot of time dodging the wings, and it turns out he was just going to bring the building down on top of it. And so he does. And then we get to, since we're getting like close to that, we get to like one of the most unintentionally hilarious parts of the film, where he's crushed under rubble, and he just starts crying. And he's like crying and asking for people to come help him. And like we get that it's supposed to portray how young he is, and he's like a young man, he's about to die. But I mean, like,
you put yourself in a scenario.
Suck
it up.
It kind of skips over like the entire point with great power. But again, that's something I'm gonna get into.
Oh yeah. So he doesn't hear his Uncle Ben go, "With great power comes great responsibility." He hears Tony go,
"Nothing about the suit. You shouldn't have it." And so he lifts the rubble off him. But it's not even like as impressive as you think it would be.
We forgot something super important. Tony, while berating him, at the very beginning of the movie, did say he was trying to be like Peter's dad.
Well, he said he reminded himself of his own father. So like,
he said that like he sees a Tony and Peter, and he's like, "So I want to be a better person than my father was. I want to cultivate you." But you're being an idiot. So
anyway, my point is, in this scene, it's not even really as impressive as what it's supposed to be homaging, because it's supposed to be a reference to this scene in Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was like issue number 33. I might be crucified for not remembering this if I'm supposed to be a Spider-Man fan. Basically, it's homaging the scene where Spider-Man lifts off a bunch of rubble because he's really desperate
his hands
to save Aunt May. He's desperate to save Aunt May, so he's lifting the rubble. And it's this big and powerful moment from the early on the Steve Ditko.
Remember,
Stan
the
Lee
entire
era.
issue is just him being hit by water and crushed underneath it, thinking about whether or not being Spider-Man was worth it and stuff.
And everything he's sacrificed and what he's going to lose if he dies, and it's this really powerful thing. And then you juxtapose it with this supposed to be like screen transition, and he's crushed under the rubble because he couldn't hack it as a hero. The only thing really at stake is a bunch of useless Avengers crap no one cares about, because Tony couldn't even, because like they're not even manually flying there. It's being flown by a drone. So it's basically like the fodder crap of the Avengers stuff. And that's
but then his mask floats into the water, and you get to see half the mask on and half of his. But here's the thing, though: it's a mask with goggles on, so it looks absolutely stupid.
And basically, and then he lifts
it
off.
Cool. No, wait, let me finish that. It looks so dumb because it's half his face, half the mask, but it looks like poor CGI, even though you know it isn't.
Yeah, it's basically like water, so it shouldn't have been too hard to like seam it over.
It wasn't even CGI. That's the thing, though. It wasn't CGI.
But anyway, the point of the scene is that he lifts it off, but like it's not as powerful. Not only because it's not as emotionally powerful, but it doesn't work.
It's too short.
No, I wouldn't even just say that. It's like the fact that like you think the entire thing caved in on it, but when he lifts it off, it's just an air conditioning unit.
Oh yeah.
Like that's all he picks up off him. So like he's crushed by that. Like.
And he has trouble lifting it.
And compare this to like the scene in the comics it's supposed to be referenced to, where he's
wait. Compare it to the part when he almost held the boat together by himself long enough to get Iron Man there.
It was really
true. He had a lot of web streams together, but I assure you that boat was stronger than the air conditioning unit. But
from my position, it didn't like he held it together like at all. It's literally the moment the web started snapping, he's like, oh no, then Iron Man shows up. Like it was basically nothing. Anyways, like I said, like compare this to the scene in the Master Plan where Doc Ock's base is literally collapsing around him. He's definitely lifting a lot of weight, and you know he's pushing beyond his limits to lift this. So comparatively, it just doesn't fit the themes at all. But basically, he gets it off of him.
Well, powerful scene. Get an air he puts on high enough off of me where I can crawl out from under it.
He puts on his wet mask on his face, and it instantly dries. It's instantly dry. It's not wet any other scene. And he catches up.
He should be drowning.
He catches up to Vulture on the plane.
Super fast. So Vulture flies really fast because no longer do his wind turbines or just wind turbines. They are now anti-grav wind turbines with anti-air suit.
I'm pretty sure it's like magnetized now because he's got so he can like it's supposed to like
no, it's anti-vacuum suit.
Yeah. So he can attach to the plane without it like crash.
Yeah. So then you see Happy talking about Tony like. Yeah, state-of-the-art defense. It goes up in the air. It camouflages itself, and Vulture's like, I got this.
Yeah, because he's still getting like assistance from Tinker. So
Tinker's in the movie.
Yeah, we want to get through this part. So basically, Peter gets on the plane. He ruins the anti-vacuum by lifting it, and the plane begins to go down. Vulture gets really ticked.
No. Plane doesn't go down. Vulture breaks the plane.
Oh yeah, but it's already starting to decline because the air is it's been structurally ruined. Yeah. And then Vulture ruins it more by trying to kill Peter while he's on top of it. And again, this is the third and final fight. And again, there's they don't collide at all.
Alright, so the plane crashes, and you see Peter getting up, suits torn, mask is torn.
His mask is gone. It's just off. It's like I think he takes it off.
No, he has half the mask on because it's ripped up and stuff. And then Vulture's there, and you see his wings are damaged, and he starts trying to fly. And
Wait, just give me a head. Just give me a. Yeah. No, because like we have to talk
nothing
about
happened in
we have to talk
between.
about no, there is. We have to talk about the featured scene. I just watched it more recently than you. So what happens is Vulture flies down. Oh, he doesn't fly down. He also crashed. And after Peter gets up, and I know he takes off the mask. That happens. He takes off the mask, and then he's like, "Oh man, I can't hear this explosion." And Vulture just comes in and just decks him, and he hits the ground.
Oh yeah, it's a scene from the trailer when Vulture's standing on top of him, and you see him shrouded by fire.
And he continuously like steps on him and like punches him, and he's like, Peter's very badly beaten from the only times Vulture has ever hit him. Then he lifts him up and he's about to like stab him with his wings, and then he's like, "Oh wait, I still have to steal crap," and he just lets him live, and then goes to steal.
No. He's like, "My daughter likes you. One more chance."
Oh no, he didn't say anything. He's just like, yeah.
You know that's the reason why.
And he goes to steal.
No. I think he heard sirens.
He goes to steal the arc reactors. He's like, I gotta get.
Yeah.
He's like,
he heard sirens and he's like, I can waste time and kill him and put even more crime on me, or I can just steal something and go.
Well, I mean, if he killed him and he got the arc reactors, so he wouldn't have been caught. Basically, so he goes to steal the arc reactors.
No, he would have been caught anyways because of how he dies.
Well, he doesn't. He died.
So here's what happens.
So his wings explode, and Peter tried to save him, but he does end up saving him from like the fires because the wings don't explode; they just kind of fizzle out and he crashes, and then Peter saves him from the flames. And then he webs up all the Stark tech and stuff without really making sure it's secure and beyond his webbing. And
webs up Vulture.
And he webs Vulture there, and he's like, and he puts a note there, and he's like, "Vulture guy from your friendly neighborhood Spider."
You know what we also forgot about? We forgot about the most angering scene for me in this entire movie.
Oh, we can talk about it
ice cream
in the bad scene. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he's captured Vulture.
No, we have to talk about it now.
Nope. Happy shows up.
It's important that how he gets on the boat.
But we already passed the boat scene.
Prowler gives him information on how to get on the boat. Moving on.
Okay, yeah. So basically, and he goes in to see what do you call it? I mean,
Tony.
Happy shows up and he's like, "Oh man,
we need to show you something."
I guess that P-Kit is fine.
Yeah.
And that's the Vulture scene. So yeah, later Peter finally gets his chance to join the Avengers.
He says no, and I'm like,
and he wants to, and he decides to be the little guy like Peter suggested. Tony suggested.
Why?
And then they have to.
There was no change in character up until that sudden change, and I'm like, why?
I mean, he has to hold on to the Iron Spider suit for what do you call it? Infinity War, because that's the next time he's gonna be wearing it. If you've seen the trailer.
This Pepper still has superpowers. That's all I care about.
And then again we conclude Iron Man 4 with Pepper deciding to finally.
No. Tony proposing.
Tony finally proposing to Pepper.
Yeah.
And Happy meets the Joker. He's been holding it since 2008, which, if you're aware, that's when Iron Man came out. So that's Spider-Man: Homecoming, and the after credits scene is Scorpion. He's called Mac Gargan in the film, which is Scorpion's secret identity. He has a scorpion tattoo, so you guys know. He's like, hey, look, this guy's a scorpion. Anyway, and he's like, hey, yo, Vulture, I heard that you know Spider-Man's secret identity. And Vulture's like, nah, fam. And then the movie ends.
No. Then Captain America shows up and he's like, sometimes it's not about the journey nor the end, because both suck. And sometimes neither one ends up going the way you want it. Perseverance is not always rewarded, nor is patience. Life sucks.
Basically a review. And there we go. So that's the recap. A 33-minute recap.
We spent way too long.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be in a bad section.
Anyway, all right. So now let's talk about the good of the film. Good. Every scene with Tony in it.
That's true. That's so true. Friday's a good part.
Happy is pretty decent. Some of the scenes when they're like bonding as a like debate team or whatever they are, science deathlon team or whatever.
We forgot about learning that Mitchell was an MJ.
That's something that happens. Yeah, whatever.
Also, Liv leaves.
Oh yeah, Liz leaves at the end. Liz Allen. Oh wait, it's probably not Allen. It's probably Toombs, because she's Vulture's daughter. Whatever, that happens. And anyway, so that's what you're talking about. Good. Vulture's frightening as like a villain. He's imposing. Like,
other than the fact his wings are just wind turbines.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that scene where he just like no scopes Peter, no difficulty, was pretty sick. He just swings in and he's like,
every time Peter gets punched is actually a good part of the movie, because
it kind of just highlights his ineffectiveness as a hero.
It makes it better because you get to see him be less than the little guy. And I know I'm sounding super sarcastic here, but honestly, seeing him get punched is easily my favorite part because
then,
I was looking forward to him learning from it, and when he didn't, I started looking forward to him not learning from it, so I get to see him get punched more.
And then Ned,
Not a good part of the movie.
No, Ned making the porn joke.
Oh yeah, because he hacked into the computer thing, and the teacher's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Porn. I'm looking at porn," and I'm like,
that's the most realistic like excuse you could come up with that scenario. So it made perfect sense. So that was good.
That got a sticker for me. That was the one scene in the movie that actually got a sticker from me.
And anything else?
Zendaya's acting.
Yeah, she's briefly in the film, but her moments were good. Some of her moments are funny, like the moment where she says like she just wanted to celebrate lost monument because it was made by slaves. Like that.
Oh, wait! When she says only my friends call me MJ, and she's like, and they're like, what friends? And she's like, she just says to them, you guys. She forces them to be her friends. It's great.
And that happens. And like I said, I think Vulture's suit looks pretty good. Michael Keaton, great in this film. Robert Downey Jr.
Prowler buying ice cream.
Prowler. What's his name? Donald Glover. Yeah, Donald Glover was a good part.
I know that's his name in the comics.
No. His name in the comics is
no, it's not.
Is Davis. I can't remember his first name. Because who cares? It's Prowler. It's not even the real Prowler, because the real Prowler is Javi Brown. This is the ultimate Prowler.
Oh yeah, it's true, because he's related to Miles. Yeah. Well, no, he may not be. Even though he says he has a nephew, that could just be some weird thing the cinematic universe is doing.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing, because it hints at maybe this version of Peter Parker will like die in a brutal all-out fight, and Miles will become Spider-Man in the MCU. I
know it sounds like we're hating on this version of Peter. We half are, but also that scene where he died in Ultimate Spider-Man was actually really powerful and impactful.
There's a motion comic of it on YouTube. I suggest you guys check it out. It's actually pretty good, solid voice acting. It really brings the scenes to life. I mean,
honestly, one of my favorite Spider-Man issues of all time. Not just because he dies, but because it was really, really good.
It's advertising some random guys. Anyway, so that's I think that might do it for the good. I do appreciate the fact that he hints that he might like want crawling stuff. I guess the only like bad part about that is I'm not really looking forward to seeing Holland put Stone Glover in the face.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, so now we get to get into the bad of the film, and
Ned.
Well, actually, yeah. No, you have to start this by saying this. So basically, the bad of this film is because, well, yeah, it's not characters. Well, it is characters, but it's like because the characters, like their names are meaningless.
Pepper is a good character.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we're talking about like the high school entourage. Like those characters, their names are meaningless. Because like I'm gonna put up this article, but like this film gets like a lot of praise for being the most diverse.
But the diversity did nothing
in terms of race.
The movie.
In terms of race, like characters, and the only reason it's the most diverse is because this is the one film where they're like, screw it, don't like look for actors that look like the characters.
Yeah, like Flash.
So
Ned.
And that really drags it down.
I don't care about Liz and MJ because the changes weren't bad.
I don't know. The change. I feel like
it wasn't the race change. If Flash looked Arabic, Islamic,
he was Indian. No. We can explain
this. If he looked Indian but was really buff and 6 feet tall, I would have been fine with that.
No, we can get into that like later. So basically, like I said, like we're judging this as like a film, so. Like, we're going to give it a better score because, in, like, terms of how it is critically as a film, than how we're rating it right now. I mean, how we're rating it right now, because right now we're talking about, like, characterization.
It's the same way we did Power Rangers, where I ripped that thing apart.
So, basically, we're talking about characterization. So, in the same way that he, like, dominated that one, so I'm about to, like, school you guys on some Spider-Man knowledge right now. So, the problems with Flash...
Nerd!
Yeah, Spider Nerd. I'll put up my banner right now. Oh, yeah. I'll change that thing at the end of the video. But basically... what's wrong with Flash is that the reason Flash is a high school jock and bully is not because that's like the stereotypical high school jock and bully. That's part of it. That's not the entire reason. The reason he's like that is because Flash's character is supposed to peak in high school. This is supposed to be Flash at his absolute best because this is all he has going for him. There's nothing else.
Then he gets into the army and his legs get annihilated.
Well, that's a whole other thing. But that's the reason why he goes to the military because he has nothing else going for him besides his football career, and he's not good enough to go pro. So. The entire point of Flash being a jock is that you're supposed to feel bad for him. Not feel bad for him because he's a jock, feel bad for him because this is the height of his potential. This is all he has going for him. Meanwhile, Peter Parker is someone who's smart, friendly, Like
Flash is supposed to be his academic rival, but I like to point out, Flash is a substitute on their debate team. Everybody else you see in the movie, including Ned, is smarter than him who are on the debate team because they are all on it. And he's acting like he is smarter than Peter, but Peter was almost their captain due to his intelligence, but he had a flake because Spider-Man.
So this changed.
And don't forget, the second Peter's like, I'm back, they put Flash back to being substitute because they think Peter's better. Just putting that out there. Academic rival, not that smart.
Well, academic rival was just their excuse for him not being a straight-up bully, because apparently, according to them, that form of bullying doesn't happen anymore. And so let me clear that up as well. So the reason why Flash...
I've seen it happen when one of my friends had it happen to him.
Anyway, so the reason why Flash is a bully is not because he's a jock. It's because his father abuses him, and the only way he feels powerful is by taking out on smaller people like Peter. And again, this is supposed to be the juxtaposition between their characters, because while Peter doesn't have a great school life, he has a great family life, and he has a great academic field. Meanwhile, Flash has a great social school life, but his home life is terrible because his father is abusive, while Peter's father is loving, and his grades are terrible, while Peter's...
What father does Peter have?
Well, if you go by this book, he doesn't have one. But basically, that's supposed to be the juxtaposition between the characters, and that's
true. The comics did exaggerate the bullying, but they didn't get it wrong.
Well, it's a comic book. It's supposed to be exaggerated. It's the film. A comic book film, so we're supposed to be having fun with this. And I'm not really enjoying it because the reason Flash's character doesn't work because again, he doesn't peak, and it's also phrased like he's kind of rich. So even though Flash is not as smart as Peter, it looks like he still has things going.
It looks like he does peak because he's trying super hard to impress everybody, but everybody knows Peter's smarter and better.
Well, no one treats Peter well.
Yeah, somehow he gets everybody behind on mistreating Peter, even though it's obvious Peter is better.
And this is another part of the characterization of Peter Parker. So I'm gonna quote Spider-Man Reign, which is like a parody comic. It is the one where MJ dies because of the spider.
That thing.
But I think this line has one of the best lines in Spider-Man comics ever, though, because while Peter's having a fever dream about MJ, and she's talking to him about his life as Spider-Man, and one of its quotes is she didn't love him because he could put his fist through Flash Thompson's skull. She loved him because he didn't. And there's no scenario where Peter would be getting bullied by Flash to the point where he's like, I could easily whoop this man, but I won't, because you get the sense that he could do that without spider powers.
Yeah. No. You get the sense that if Peter put effort into his workout routine without spider powers, Flash would be nothing in comparison.
He kind of already is.
Also, Peter's fucking ripped.
I think he's shorter than him, too.
Yeah. Peter's also really ripped.
Well, Spider might do that to people.
No. That's not how that works.
It is now. So that's why the character of Flash fails in this film, especially compared to previous films, because they don't really get to dive into the character because he doesn't appear again in all those films.
Flash was lame in the first Spider-Man 1, aka with Tom Holland, but he wasn't bad either.
You just call Tobey Maguire Tom Holland.
Oh shit!
Wow, getting your white tees mixed up. Anyway,
I am.
I say that
I get my Chris's mixed up.
I think we can agree that the best version of Flash Thompson hit the films happens in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because it shows the humanity of the character that the other films don't get to dive into it because they don't get to talk about his abusive relationship. The only people whose abuse they get to talk about in the original films is Mary Jane, and in the next film they don't talk about how Flash has an abusive life. But after Uncle Ben dies, he goes to comfort Peter about it, and so you're seeing that Flash isn't just a bully. There's methods to his madness, and when he sees that Peter's hurting, he knows that he's lost a father figure he kind of wished he could have had, and so he goes to comfort Peter about it. So you get to see shades of the deeper version of the character there. So basically, this is the worst version of Flash to ever hit the screens, and he's garbage, and I hate him.
You just wanted him to be a 6-foot-tall jock who bullied Peter. That's all you wanted. You didn't care about race or hair color. You just wanted him to.
I wanted the character. I don't know. I actually, there's something we should touch on.